G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today's fish feature is on one of the most beautiful and rare of all of the tangs, Zebrasoma gemmatum, otherwise known as the Gem Tang. So we're lucky enough here at Gallery Aquatica to have a number of Gem Tangs for sale at the moment. Now, when we get Gem Tangs, we normally get them about once a year. We do typically get them in multiples, and I just want to talk a little bit about their care requirements, their dietary requirements, and how they are best housed in your reef aquarium. So, let's start by talking about compatibility of the Gem Tang. So this is the Gem Tang just here. Now we're lucky enough to have a few specimens here at Gallery Aquatica at the moment, and you can see that they are a beautiful pitch black with tiny little white dots on them. They also have a yellow tail. Now, as with a lot of fish, depending on their mood, their color will vary slightly, and so you'll probably see some of them look a little bit darker than others at certain times. This guy is a little bit cautious because we're right in front of them. But we'll look at a few of the fish here, and I just want to talk about their care requirements and how they are best housed in your reef tank. But let's talk first of all about the diet of the Gem Tang. So as a lot of people already know, tangs as a group are largely herbivorous. So this means that it's important to include a lot of vegetable-based foods in their diet. So here at Gallery Aquatica, we feed them a variety of prepared algae-based foods, so the Vitalis algae flakes. And this is a particularly good one for small Gem Tangs. The grazers, which is another vegetable-based food. Now this is one that you put in the tank and they can pick at it over time. And we also feed frozen foods, and the marine green is probably the best example of a frozen food that is specifically designed for fish like the Gem Tang. Now we have a little bit of frozen food here already. This is the marine green, and Gem Tangs do feed really, really well. We're standing over the tank at the moment, of course, so this guy's a little bit timid, but you can see he's gone straight for the marine green. And it really is important for proper nutrition of tangs to include vegetable-based foods in their diet, but they will eat a variety of other things. In here, I've just put in a mix of brine shrimp, and then I think there's a little bit of mysis as well. But the key with Gem Tangs is definitely to include vegetable-based foods in their diet. So you can see in here, this Gem Tang is actually a little bit bigger than the one to the left, showing slightly darker coloration at the moment. So he's clearly happy and relaxed. But when they're small, they are quite a timid fish, and it's very important that you keep them with fish that aren't going to hassle them. They really don't like being in with fish which are too boisterous when they're small. Now, as they get bigger, they are more confident, and they're quite a robust fish. They are relatively easy to look after. Being a tang, they're quite prone to diseases like protozoan diseases and flukes, but certainly they are a relatively easy fish to keep. The key is about ensuring that they get along well with the other tangs in the tank. And when you do introduce a new tang to a group of existing tangs in your tank, careful acclimation and using an isolation box is a good idea, because often the Gem Tangs will sit at the bottom of the pecking order with the other tangs. And if your Gem Tang is put in and it isn't put in an isolation box and the other tangs don't get used to it, there's a high chance that your rare, expensive Gem Tang might actually become attacked and die in the first day or two from the other tank. So just being careful when you introduce a Gem Tang into your tank is particularly important. This Gem Tang is particularly nice. He's probably my favorite. I just love how bright his dots are and how deep the black is at the moment. But something that we need to talk about with the Gem Tang is the size of the tank and how they go with corals. Now, I've never had a problem with Gem Tangs with any corals. I've always found them to be totally coral safe, and I would keep them with LPS, SPS, soft corals without hesitation. The size of the tank is important. They're an active swimmer, and so I would suggest that you have a tank which is 400 litres plus, so 100 gallons or more. The bigger the tank, the better. And possibly when they're small, you could keep them in a smaller tank, but they do get relatively large. The ones we've got here are quite small. They're going to get probably 3 or 4 times the size that they are now. So a tank which is 400 litres or more is ideal for the Gem Tang. The Gem Tang is generally best kept as a single specimen in the tank. I don't normally put more than one Gem Tang in a tank. I think you'd probably have problems unless they were a compatible pair. And you know, it's pretty lucky to put 2 together and just have a compatible pair. Another interesting fact about the Gem Tang is they're actually from Madagascar. And so that does make them a bit rarer in the hobby, especially in Australia. It's also part of the reason why they're a more expensive fish than a lot of the other tangs. But because of the difficulty these days of getting yellow tangs, I think that the Gem Tang is probably one of the best candidates to replace a yellow tang in your home aquarium. They've got an excellent nature, and as you can see, they are a strikingly beautiful fish. So now it's time to talk about the difficulty rating of the Gem Tang. Now we have a rating system in which 1 is the easiest fish to keep and 10 is the most difficult. And the Gem Tang is a 3. Now the reason for this is because they are a very robust, hardy fish. As long as you keep them in a tank in which they're not bullied by the other fish and you're careful with quarantine and keeping an eye out for disease, they are an easy fish to keep. They're easy to feed and everything about them really is easy. So they are, whilst they're an expensive fish, an easy fish to keep in your aquarium. So as I said before, yellow tangs are quite difficult to get these days, and the Gem Tangs are more readily available than they've ever been. So I think it's fair to say that black is the new yellow. So if you were considering putting a yellow tang in your tank, I would actually say consider the Gem Tang. They are absolutely beautiful and hardy. But that's it for today's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing. That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!